All right, today we're diving into a topic that affects millions, but often stays in the shadows, muscular dystrophy. And we're going to look specifically at the unique fight happening on the ground in Pakistan.
And I've got to be honest with you, before I started digging into this for our explainer, I didn't know a ton about it. So I figured, let's learn about this together. We'll break down what MD even is, what life is like for people with it in Pakistan, and the amazing work being done to create hope.
Okay, so first things first. Before we can really get into what's happening in Pakistan, we gotta get our heads around the basics, right? So, what actually is muscular dystrophy? This is probably the most important thing to get right off the bat. Muscular dystrophy, or MD, isn't just one disease. Nope. It's actually a whole group of genetic disorders. And the one thing they all have in common, they cause your muscles to get weaker and waste away over time. And that progressive part is key. It means it's a condition that gets worse as time goes on.
You know, here's something that might surprise you. Most of us, when we hear muscular dystrophy, we think of kids, right? And yeah, a lot of forms do show up in childhood, but it can also pop up for the first time when someone's a teenager or even a full-blown adult. That's a really big piece of this that I think a lot of people miss.
So what's going on inside the body? Well, you can think of it like a chain reaction. It all kicks off with a gene mutation. This tiny change stops the body from making a super important protein called dystrophin. Now imagine dystrophin is like the shock absorber for your muscles. Without it, those muscles are just unprotected. They get fragile, they get damaged really easily, and that's what leads to the weakness we see.
And the effects of that weakness, they're huge. It's not just about having trouble moving your arms and legs, even though that's a massive part of it. What you have to remember is that your heart, your diaphragm that helps you breathe, those are muscles too. So really serious forms of MD can mess with your heart and even your ability to breathe. It's incredibly serious.
But, and this is so important, this is not a story without hope. Not at all. Right now, there isn't a cure, that's true. But with the right management, things like physical therapy, the right medications, just good supportive care, it can make an enormous difference. It can help slow things down and really improve someone's quality of life.
Okay, so now that we have that foundation, let's pivot. Let's turn our attention to Pakistan, because the situation there brings a whole different and really difficult set of challenges for people with MD. To really understand this, we're going to lean on the experience of Ghulam Ali. He's the CEO and a research fellow at an organization called Muscular Dystrophy Pakistan. But here's what makes his voice so powerful. He actually lives with MD himself. He has a form called limb-girdle muscular dystrophy. So he's not just talking about this from a distance, he is living this reality every single day.
And Ghulam points out some really big hurdles they face there. A lot of it starts with just a lack of awareness. People don't know what MD is, so the early symptoms get ignored or misdiagnosed. This means a diagnosis can come years too late. And you can imagine that delay means you miss that crucial window for getting help early on. On top of that, there's the struggle to get good care, to get the right genetic tests, or even to get things like wheelchairs or other devices that make such a huge difference. But in the middle of all those challenges, there is an incredible fight for a better future. And it's being led by groups like Ghulam's Muscular Dystrophy Pakistan. They're right there on the ground doing the work to try and turn this all around.
So where do you even begin? Well, one really smart thing they did was create a focal point. They made September 30th the official Limb-Girdle Muscular Dystrophy Awareness Day. By having one specific day to rally around, they get people talking, they get them learning, and it starts to break down that stigma that so often comes with genetic conditions.
But it's so much more than just an awareness day. They're tackling this from all sides. They're organizing support sessions for patients, which is just vital. They're pushing for better healthcare policies from the government. They're fighting for more medical research to happen in Pakistan. And this is huge. They're working to bring international clinical trials to the country. That could literally be a game changer, opening up new treatments for people there.
When you boil it all down, all of this work, it's about one thing: building community. It's about creating these networks of support so that no one, no individual, no family has to go through this alone. It's a way of saying, hey, you're not isolated. You're part of a community that gets it and is fighting right alongside you.
So you hear all that, and it's pretty natural to ask yourself, okay, so what can I do? And that's the last, but maybe most important piece of the puzzle. How do we turn just knowing about this into actually doing something?
Well, the good news is there are really clear ways anyone can help. It can be as simple as just raising awareness, sharing good, solid information with your friends and family. You can join in on their campaigns. If you're able, you can donate to help them get those assisted devices and fund their support sessions. Or you could even volunteer your time and skills. Honestly, every single one of those things makes a real impact.
And that really gets to the heart of this whole story, doesn't it? It's this beautiful idea that lots of small things add up to something big. Your one small effort plus someone else's and someone else's, it creates this ripple effect. And all those ripples come together to create real, meaningful change for people living with muscular dystrophy.
So I'll leave you with this thought. We've talked about the challenges, we've seen the incredible fight, and we've definitely seen the hope. The only question left is, what part will you play?